Welcome everybody to the Spotlight stage. I know I've seen a lot of faces that look very familiar, so many of you have been at other sessions like this. I'm the host, Mark Demers, but this isn't about me. It's about this next presentation and these two people, Kirk Hofer from Microsoft and Lee Cullen from SAS. So they're going to take you through an exciting presentation and the partnership that we have with Microsoft. So I'm going to be coming around minimally disruptive. I see many of you eating and scanning your badges. I apologize in advance, but just give me grace, and I'll get out of the way real fast. So let me turn it over to these two guys, and give them a round of applause to start.
All right, thank you.
All right, well, hello everyone. It's great to see everyone here. My name is Lee Cullen, and I'm a generative AI product manager at SAS, working on the product called SAS Viya Copilot. Kirk?
And I'm Kirk Hofer. I'm a data and AI specialist at Microsoft. I work in the software and digital platforms area. So what that means is we work with companies like SAS, software vendors, to promote solutions inside of their products. So yeah, good to be here.
Okay, so we're here to talk to you about the SAS and Microsoft partnership as we are building emergent technology around generative AI for our customers.
Yeah, and as you heard earlier, Gavin mentioned the partnership we've had for the past 5 years, so a lot of work. Does anybody remember when that one thing, ChatGPT, came out? Everybody probably remembers where they were doing that kind of stuff. So at Microsoft, we obviously run OpenAI on Azure. So it's a generative platform that we've been doing for the past several years. So if you've heard about it or know about it and you want to know more why we do it, obviously come ask us more later. But it's been the fastest moving technology. If you use the models, you're probably like, I use a model, next week, there's a new model. Next week, there's a new model, right? Which one do you use and how do you do that? So that's some of the things we've been working with SAS on and try to figure out, how do we do this with our models? How do you do it with your models? Because that's where it's different. So.
And we have similar objectives, right? We, as part of this emergent generative AI technology, we're looking at democratizing AI, right, for all of our customers, and increasing productivity in the way you work, in the workflows that you have. So we're going to talk more about that today. Okay, so why did SAS choose to work with Microsoft? So there are many reasons. Well, one, Microsoft was first on the stage. They were out the starting block, right? When OpenAI news hit in 2022, they followed suit with investment in OpenAI immediately thereafter, and the pace of innovation has been astounding. So the emergent technologies that Microsoft has offered in terms of generative AI infrastructure, the vast model repository, and even more importantly, something you all ask for as our customers, security, right? Security around generative AI. So SAS has access to all of these tools from Microsoft to help build what you need. In addition, Microsoft is obviously a cloud provider, and SAS is expanding into the cloud marketplace. We're building software as a service for our customers because that is in demand from customers. That's where the market is headed, and who better to work with than a hyperscaler who has cloud services that we can access out of the box and start using. And the Microsoft partnership has been a generous one. Whenever you all, our customers, have questions and you have specific ones around security, I can take that right to Microsoft. I've met with their guardrails team so that we hear your voice, and we're solving for the questions that you have for us.
Yeah, and so as mentioned earlier too, with the longevity of our companies, Microsoft, we just celebrated our 50th year, and SAS is going to celebrate their 50th year next year. So these are companies that have been around for a little bit of time. We definitely have expertise in industries, but if you use the AI models that are provided by SAS, you know that they're very, very well provisioned, and that they have a lot of different flexibility within the industries between manufacturing, retail, healthcare, all the different aspects of the verticals that they cover. That helps us because we go after the same verticals. Microsoft is also aligned to verticals as well too. So when we sell, it's just easy to work with them and sort of say, hey, SAS is really good in this area. We've worked together also too. You probably heard we launched Decision Builder on Fabric, and then we've also got private previews for Workbench and a couple other things running in Azure as well too. And that's just the start of our partnership. We've got a lot more stuff eventually coming too. The one thing I really like about SAS is they're a leader. They're one of our only, in fact, they're the only vendor that is a leader in 3 very specific areas for us in the Gartner quadrant. So like that's very specific to work with these kinds of vendors, and that's why we love working with SAS.
All right, so what are we building together? So we are building what is called SAS Viya Copilot. And so let me tell you a little bit about that feature. All right, so if you all are using Viya 4, the AI and analytics lifecycle today, that's got a number of applications, right? And so what the SAS Viya Copilot feature is it helps our customers conversationally query the AI and analytics lifecycle to help you use SAS Viya 4. So what we're showing here is kind of the tip of the iceberg and the types of features that we plan to integrate throughout our Viya 4 applications. So enabling you to do SAS code generation. Maybe you're a novice to SAS code, right, and learning the code. Or if you want assistance doing model pipeline generation. The feature set will be always expanding. Okay.
Yeah, and so like some of the things too, I always like to add on to this. If you've heard of that thing called Copilot, we have this thing called Copilot as well too, and it's a Copilot showing up in every single one of our product lines and the different areas of that. So one of the things we've already been talking about with SAS and of course the evolution, you've heard now these things called agents. So depending on wherever you're at, you're gonna want an agent to do something as well too, and that's what's awesome about working with partnering is we talk about, hey, here's what's coming in the future, here's what you should be looking at, and then make sure that we're gonna align to that technology, which is great, so.
Yes. And these SAS Viya Copilots that we're creating ultimately will be looking at how to integrate the copilots into agents. So more to come on that. All right, we'll go to the next one. So in terms of our industries, SAS is working and integrating SAS Viya Copilot features into our industry offerings as well. And we're here listening to our customers, and our customers are saying, please help us automate tasks in our industry-specific workflows that are painful, manual, repetitive, and time-consuming. So these are the areas that we're focused on, helping automate, but still making sure that our customers have high human in the loop. Okay. All right, so our generative AI, well, what powers these features, right? So we have to build an infrastructure, and you'll hear the market terminology around this as large language model application stack or generative AI framework, and this is where we're working with Microsoft, who offers such a breadth of tooling in infrastructure for generative AI. And one of the most frequent questions we get from customers is, okay, your infrastructure is SAS and Microsoft based, but I'm an AWS shopper, right? I use GCP. Can I still use SAS Viya Copilot? The answer is yes, absolutely. The only prerequisites you need are Viya 4 and an internet connection. Okay.
You've had, as an organization, right, so we've past couple years, we've seen an influx of customers come to Azure because some of those other companies you mentioned, I won't mention them again, but they don't have the AI models. It didn't have the AI models when they first came out. So security is a big thing. That's one of the main things we do, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But a lot of our other customers have used the Copilot functionality or the AI pieces in their products to say, hey, by the way, if you go to our cloud platform, you get all this functionality. That's not the same. SAS has said, you know what? No, as long as you have an internet connection, you can use this functionality. So that's a big deal. I've talked to a lot of you in different things passing by our booth saying, hey, we're running SAS 9, we're running this version of it. And it's like, well, you're gonna still get the Copilot functionality. And so I think that's a great thing because not all of our customers look forward to that. And it's like, how do we make that as safe as we can? We work with the technology of the different teams to make sure that you're not going outside of your networks, that you're staying in your regions for data. Mm-hmm. And that's always a big concern as well, too.
All right, so we're going to show you a little bit of the infrastructure. And so how is SAS Viya Copilot powered? So over here, this is SAS Viya 4. So these are the applications that you use. Maybe it's Model Studio, or maybe you're using SAS Health and Industry Offering, or SAS Asset Liability Management, for example. And then this is at the SAS Viya Copilot service. It is software as a service. It's a cloud-based service, and it has a mixture of ingredients, right? It has Microsoft tooling as well as SAS tooling. So this right here, these are the copilots, right? The various copilots that we're building. We're also building functionality like RAG architecture so that you don't have to go manually search through SAS help documentation. You can just conversationally query the copilot. And Kirk, do you want to talk a little bit about the Microsoft services?
Absolutely. So you can't run all these services. Think Microsoft tech with the AI models and the different things, everybody just thinks, oh, we just have LLMs. No, we have this whole AI stack out there. There's a search, you have a lot of the content safety mechanisms. We've got where you can deploy your own models, use that other functionality, not to mention all the evaluating capabilities behind the scenes. But in this architecture right here, you're using a lot of our other stacks. So API management, you obviously have APIs. If you build APIs as an organization, you need to protect those. You probably need to make them also very robust. You need to have it not deployed one spot, you need to probably deploy it in 7 locations, so that way you never drop or go down. And then we're also using a lot of the different pieces. You've heard responsibility. I think responsible show up in about every conversation that has been on stage with AI, and of course that is one of the things that we have to make sure to do with all of our models, make sure that they are valid across that big piece, and that's all exposed through our AI Foundry.
All right, so how have we been partnering together? So this is kind of how we've been working together over the past few years. We've done workshops, so what are the best ways to prompt engineer, right? What is emergent technology to help with security, like meta prompting, right? And how we're doing this is we're looking at every single business case, whether it's a model studio business case or a specific type of HLS, health and life sciences workflow, and we're evaluating on a one-by-one basis.
You guys got me. Okay, so a lot of things we do as Microsoft, we have a lot of the different capabilities. These are just things that we offer as a team, as a partner team perspective, so we're very engaged with our customers to say, what are you doing? How do we do this better? So like our workshops, the different pieces, we also do this production readiness check, and that's a very key thing to be able to say, are you ready to go? Because as we work with SAS, they work with us. So we want to make sure that this is going to be successful when it launches. So that involves a lot of different pieces like responsible AI. I've got a list because there's so many. Architectural integration, scalability, performance, security and compliance, UX and accessibility, monitoring and maintenance, cost and resource management. That's very key. Feedback loop, the little checkbox up, down. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Customer experience, and of course, LLM deployments. That's just a couple of things.
Yeah. All right, so I would say even more importantly, because this is the number one topic I hear from customers, is tell us what your trustworthy and secure, by design, SAS Viya Copilot roadmap is. And so SAS and Microsoft share not just similar principles, but we're working on integration of real functionality based on what our customers need, based on how we're following regulation, like the EU AI Act, we're looking at NIST standards and more. And so you will be able to find over time as we update our roadmap, we are intentionally showing our customers what types of functionality we're building into the infrastructure and features around this. And I want to say, please, please, please come by the SAS Viya Copilot booth, because I want to hear you and your opinion on what you need to be successful with your organization and what your barriers to entry may be with generative AI. And let's figure it out together.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, you of course see the 6 principles. Our principles are very similar, and it's something that's been around for years at Microsoft. We just didn't jump into like this whole AI, responsible AI thing as soon as LLM hits. We hit it years ago, and you mentioned earlier today when the speeches, you heard about other countries that have been doing it since 2017. AI has been around for a long time. It's this generative AI thing that's sort of new and has certain guardrails we got to protect against. So that's sort of been a key thing from our standpoint. We have a lot of additional services behind the scenes to make sure you're not using, protected material, that you're using groundedness on your data, and that you've got a lot of those pieces. So that's pretty much a key thing. The other thing is, I always say this, right? If you're using another model, if they don't have those functionalities built into it, you should probably find a provider like us or somebody else that has that capability, because if you're using a model that doesn't protect you against harm or violence in those prompts, whether it's either an input or an output, you're leaving yourself open for what could be a really bad user experience.
Yes, and I would say what SAS is doing, kind of our first steps, are to use out-of-the-box tooling that Microsoft provides, which is a whole host of tooling around harm prevention guardrails. So it's looking at the inputs, user inputs going in, and then gate checking the LLM before it even reaches the user. And we're working on, as well, customizing types of functionality. So we have one of our co-pilots is doing natural language to SQL generation. So we're working with Microsoft to understand, well, what are best practices around meta-prompting, right, to help mitigate SQL injection attacks, and then what are best practices around A/B testing and red teaming and more. So, yeah.
Just to add to that as well too, one of the things, obviously we're a partner. We work with a lot of vendors. I probably worked with about 100 customers over the past 3 years on trying to figure out best cases. People come to us all the time. What should I be doing in Gen AI? I said, if you're asking me, you're probably behind the curve and you probably are going in the wrong direction. So let's resurface that back and say, what do you need to do? And that's something we're able to bring to SAS. When they said, hey, we want to do this, we just said, what do you want to do? And she had a list of the co-pilots up there that are currently being worked on. There's a bunch that are also being worked on, not on that list. And we have just been amazed by the partnership we've been able to do, sort of help them escalate their process, accelerate it, and find out like, hey, this is something we've never seen. If we haven't seen that with the 100 plus customers we have in our portfolio with that's pretty impressive. So, yeah.
All right, so we want to share this slide with you too. So yes, SAS and Microsoft are partnered on generative AI and SAS Viya Copilot. And with time, we're planning to integrate SAS Viya Copilot features into things like Data Maker, into Workbench, and more. But this is the breadth of the SAS and Microsoft partnership. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's something, this is a big screen, which actually shows this really well. I was curious of like how this is going to present, because it's just a big graphic, but that shows our integration. We're all over the place. We have a lot of products that we're working with a lot of the intelligent decisioning and the different aspects of that. So yeah, there's a lot more to come on this roadmap, and look forward to the next steps with that.
So do we have a little bit of time for Q&A, or are we at time?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Few minutes. Do folks have questions, or? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This might be a lexical question, but Copilot is a generic term? Like for example, I have this Android device, I have something called Copilot on this. I noticed just this morning my Outlook client suddenly has something called Copilot on it. So is it the same thing, or is it, yeah?
Let me use the mic, because I know my mic's got some feedback, so I'll use this one if that's okay. Yeah, so like Copilot is very, obviously it's a trademarked thing for Microsoft M365 Copilot. That's a trademark, right? So like there's a lot of our customers are using Copilot. We can't stop the word Copilot. It's in everything. So like we love when customers say, hey, we're building and branding something and we're calling it Copilot, because that's what they are. Copilot is the UX for everything. I think we're going to see it show up in a lot of other customers as well too. So that's a good question. And yes, if you have Outlook M365, I think updated today. So you probably have it sitting in your inbox now at the bottom, and you're probably going, oh, what's this little thing? So it's constantly being rolled out. So a lot of you might be seeing that. And somebody had a question in the back. Can you come up closer so we don't get feedback?
You go back to one slide.
Sure.
Is there a way to embed it, the Power BI into it?
Into the products, or there are connectors. So there's I don't know if it's a Viya connector, but there's an actual published connector to Power Platform that allows you to connect other tools in the Microsoft ecosystem back into the Viya data. So we get that question quite a bit from people walking by. I've got this SaaS product, and I have this Microsoft tech. How do I integrate these? There's a connector that SAS built, along with the 1,700 other connectors we have in the back end to connect to other data sources.
And other functionality from Power BI.
Yeah, and there's probably some pieces and functionality. I mean, obviously you have SAS Virtual Analytics. There's a lot of other tools and reporting tools out there as well, but a lot of it is still capable. Yeah, good question. All right. All right, that is it. So thank you all very much. And like Lee said, please stop by the SAS Viya Copilot, which is like literally right behind that screen. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Kurt. Thanks, Lee.